Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Tiana here once again, and I am back for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Sonic Colors for the Nintendo DS version. So, last time, we've essentially did manage to explore into Planet Wisp, but oh no, we actually did that level pretty decently enough, except there was a part where the fact that we actually come across into this instant death moments not only once, but twice, in Journey Forms of in Act 2, alongside with the Forms of Mission 2 respectively. So because of that though, and also in addition to that, we did somehow manage to able to stumble across into ourselves the yellow Drill Wisp. In addition to that, we somehow claim ourselves the 4th Chaos Emerald, which this time what appears to be the red color. And on top of all that stuff though, we somehow bump into not only Charmy B, but as well as SBO the Chameleon, and finally affected the Crocodile, meaning about the fact that we've meet up with the rest of the Chaotix group, except with Mighty the Armadillo. But again, it wasn't until when 2018 roll around where Mighty the Armadillo will finally make its return in Sonic Mania Plus. So that's besides the point. So today, for this video, is that we're going to be continuing things on and move on to the next level, and that's what appears to be Aquarium Park. So because of that though, that's to be expected, much like the forms of how it does on the console version, including Sonic Colors Ultimate. This means about the fact that this place is filled to the brim with water. So, but what's this? We actually come across as that familiar Wisp ever since in Journey Forms have been a console version, including Sonic Colors Ultimate, and this time what appears to be Silent Laser. So yeah, it's kind of weird able to actually come across into this Wisp way later than the forms of how it does it since the very beginning. Because you remember Journey Forms within the Wii version, including Sonic Colors Ultimate, that basically though Orbot and Cubot was trying to not only capture Yaka, but as well as the forms of the Silent Laser Wisp. But actually, as it turns out about the fact on the DS version, they only try to capture the White Wisp, including Yaka, which as a result, thankfully though we did somehow manage to save them since the very beginning. So either way, as you can tell, we somehow immediately obtained the Silent Laser Wisp off screen because of the forms of this cutscene logic. So either way though, and Charles' thought though is about the fact that we can now able to actually use the Silent Laser now. So as far as I'm aware, it plays pretty much like the forms of how it does on the Wii version, including Sonic Colors Ultimate, that if you stumble across into yourselves with the forms of those little laser shards or anything else like that, that is how you're able to actually use the actual laser. So either way, let's hop into Act 1 in Aquarium Park. Now as far as I'm usually concerned with this particular stuff in mind, about the fact that I'm pretty sure about the fact that we still need able to actually utilize air bubbles to survive when it comes to likely if you're trying to go underwater, just like the forms of how it does it in Sonic Rush alongside with Sonic Rush Adventure. So because of that though, except your noticeable differences this time around though is about the fact that obviously though we can't do tricks anymore. So like I said before, it's about the fact that, well, we got to use wisps this time around. And much like the forms of how it does it on the Wii version, including Sonic Colors Ultimate, if you come across into the yellow Drill Wisp, that way you could able to actually try to make the underwater segments a lot easier, like this for instance. So because of that though, so thankfully you don't have to worry about, you know, trying to drown yourselves and all that stuff. So anyway, yeah, a few things I want to talk about is about the fact that, well, today's date, of course, there is the 31st of August today. In some cases, in 2024 today. So you know what that means, folks? Today is the final day of August of 2024 before we move on to the next month, which appears to be September. And also, as far as I'm concerned, we've only just got about exactly 26 days to go until The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom will be releasing. So because of that though, although I was originally trying to able to actually mention something related to the forms of the most recent PAX West, but unfortunately though, that particular topic can wait until probably until tomorrow, if we manage to able to tackle through, without a doubt is the hardest level in the entire game, at least to be more specifically the DS version of Sonic Colors in particular, which you know what I mean if we get onto that specific level. So either way, so yeah, not much else to say about this, apart from the fact that, oh jeez, I'm almost gonna get stuck with that particular, not only keep on bumping into certain walls, but also with this particular jellyfish as well. But thankfully though, it's about the fact that we can easily escape out of there, and potentially we can able to use laser on top of that. So, anyways though, there are some other things worth mentioning for actually, is about the fact that, remember what, I would say Maxi has already mentioned about this ever since in Luigi's Mansion 2 Let's Play, that obviously though is about the fact that we are very glad they're able to actually stumble across it ourselves the yet another cosmetic character for Sonic anyway, in Sonic Dash. Now actually, as it turns out, is about the fact that, well, it appears to be Extreme Gear Sonic, so because of that though, yeah, as far as I'm aware, that we're about to be taking a break on Sonic Dash again, just in case, no matter what though, is about the fact that my expectations of the future characters to be coming up, well, fundamentally speaking, I was about the fact that we're most able to actually stick around with cosmetic characters for a while, until fundamentally speaking, oh wow, we got ourselves a glorious S rank. That's actually a pretty good start in regards to the forms of Aquarium Parks. Yeah, that's actually super top notch and everything. So, anyways, let's go and get to it with the 5th special stage. And as far as I'm usually concerned correctly, that the color of the emeralds we're about to be going after next is purple, which I'm pretty sure if I'm guessing this correctly. So because of that though, mind you about the fact it's been about 6 days ago since we've last played this game for sure, just because no matter what though, is about the fact I'm pretty sure that Maxi is now onto the halfway point in terms of Haunted Towers in Luigi's Mansion 2. So because of that though, yeah, I can't believe about the fact that the entire progressioning of Luigi's Mansion 2 goes by a lot quicker than I was expecting. Well, to be fair though, because of how in fact, like he established that before, that he's obviously focusing on Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, or specifically Luigi's Mansion 2 in general, or Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, for those of you who lived in North America, for the majority of Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, just in case about the fact that just before, maybe you're trying to complete the game, just, you know, when Halloween is about to start or something like that, but who knows at this point. So anyway though, also, I just want to classify if I mention something like this happens to be, that's what appears to be about the fact that, well, better late than never I suppose, but happy 16th anniversary of the game's release, specifically in North America, that's what appears to be Mario Super Sluggers, which I can't even believe it's been 16 years ago since Mario Super Sluggers did somehow came out in North America. Even though it's a shame about the fact that there's no UK release, my guess is probably because the first Mario Baseball game, which is of course Mario Superstar Baseball on a GameCube, didn't sell very well in the UK, but that's mainly because both Japan and North America are very popular when it comes to baseball and stuff like that. So, makes a little bit obvious context for the sake of time, but we still managed able to get the game regardless, and because of that though, we still got ourselves the American Wii, so we don't have to worry about the those unnecessary mods and all that stuff. So because of that though, yeah, everything else checks out there, but I still really do remember, back in 2017 anyway, that I feel like the character roster is the best aspect when it comes to Mario Super Sluggers, and fundamentally speaking, I was about the fact that I still managed to play the game, even to this day, because I don't know about you, I felt trying to go back onto Mario Superstar Baseball can be quite tricky at times. Well, that's just mainly because I'm pretty much used to with motion controls when it comes to not only for pitching, but as well as batting as well. So because of that though, yeah, let me know in the comments down below for the question of the day. What was your thoughts about Mario Super Sluggers while looking back on it though after 16 years ago since when it first came out in 2008, to be more specifically in North America? Well, because of that though, I still managed able to find myself enjoying my time with Mario Super Sluggers, and potentially speaking though, I can still easily recommend it, well, to be more specifically for those of you who lived in Japan, including North America, whilst compared to the UK version, as I said before, it's never been released. So because of that though, yeah, everything else checks out there. Oh, we were so close to get an S rank, but I'll take an A rank just in case, because obviously though we can able to easily guarantee to get ourselves some more extra lives in particular, which is especially noticeable concerning the fact that once we're done with the forms of Aquarium Park, that we might able to actually come across into ourselves without a doubt the hardest level in the entire game in my opinion. So either way, so that pretty much does it for both Act 1, including Special Stage number 5. So naturally speaking, oh, I was right, we got the purple Chaos Emerald. So either way, now let's move on to Act 2, and fundamentally speaking, oh, we've only got about 2 Chaos Emeralds remaining. So, and fundamentally speaking, oh, those 2 colors in particular we've only got left when it comes to the Chaos Emeralds, which there are dark blue or regular blue, as well as light blue. So I wonder what specific color we might go after next. So, well, if you're following through our Let's Play of both Sonic Colors on the Wii, in addition to Sonic Colors Ultimate, well, I'm pretty concerned about the fact that maybe potentially the 6th Chaos Emerald is going to be pure blue, and as far as I'm aware with Chaos Emerald number 7, it's going to be light blue. So because of that though, that's as far as I can try to able to predict that, especially concerning for the fact that, well, you probably get the idea about the fact that if you ever played Gameland or Eggman's Simulator on the Wii version, including Sonic Colors Ultimate, you know exactly what I'm about to say. So either way, fundamentally speaking though actually, is about the fact that, and so to be more specifically though, once we make our way to the 7th of September, which should be next week at that time, basically though, I kind of think about it, that I'm pretty sure that Sonic Colors Ultimate will be, fundamentally speaking though, will become 3 years old until, to be more specifically, on 7th of September, which I'll talk more about that whenever I decided able to actually look back on Sonic Colors Ultimate. Like, it doesn't matter what version I'm going to be playing on, likely the PlayStation 4 version, or the Xbox One version, or the Switch version. Well, I suppose that particular topic can wait in a later day, because there's also, as far as I'm aware, that I honestly totally forgot about the forms of the Paralympics exist during the forms of in Paris 2024, especially concerning for the fact I'm pretty sure about the fact that both Ray the Flying Squirrel and Maxie just somehow managed able to actually keep on discussing upon not only game-related things, but as well as film-related stuff too. So generally speaking, I was about the fact I honestly totally forgot about the forms of the Paralympics did somehow manage to take place now, and fundamentally speaking, I was about the fact I'm pretty concerned about the fact that we've only got about 8 more days to go until the closing ceremony for the Paralympics in 2024 in Paris. So just before we move on to the next Summer Olympics, which is not going to be until 2028, which should be in Los Angeles in America. So yeah, you probably get the idea what I was expecting will do. Oh wow, we got ourselves the 2nd S rank so far in Aquarium Park, so it's actually gone pretty smoothly, all things considered, unlike the forms of how it does it in Planet Wisp, that the actual difficulty just feels a bit all over the place. Like, I feel like Act 1 is actually pretty easy, whilst compared to Act 2, it's actually quite tricky to me, but that's just mainly because of this instant death moments in during the forms of by the end of the level. So, well, fundamentally speaking though, not only for Act 2, but as well as Mission 2 as well, respectively. So either way, so yeah, and also, I did somehow manage to able to collect certain red star rings, fundamentally speaking. So, mind you, we've almost got every single red star rings for sure, but it knows what it is, I guess. So either way though, oh, wait a second, something tells me we might able to actually bump into, yep, Big the Cat is here, and suffice to say, he's probably looking for Froggy. So because of that though, not too surprising right there, after the events of Sonic Adventure and all that stuff, and also Sonic Heroes as well. But usually, relatively speaking, I was about the fact that I have no idea why he was there in the first place, but hey, at least we can able to actually do some more missions from time to time, so it may look like about the fact that we've almost come across into certain familiar Sonic's friends based off from Team Rose. So because of that, because after all, we've already come across into certain Sonic's friends based off from Team Chaotix in Planet Wisp, in addition to that with the forms of the duology, or the duos from the likes of the other dimensional, something like that, ranging from Blaze and Silver from Sonic 06 and all that stuff, despite the fact that Sonic 06 is non-canon. Well, potentially speaking though, if you pretty much know exactly what I was going to be thinking about anyway. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and try to deal with certain enemies to dish out off. So, And fundamentally speaking, I was about the fact that I'm pretty concerned that the missions themselves are gonna be, well, some of them is gonna be easy, because obviously though we might come across into certain familiar level layouts based off from Act 1 as well as Act 2, but sometimes that was about the fact that if you couldn't tell, I just keep on getting hit by certain spikes and all that stuff, but that's just mainly because, again, sometimes the drill risk in the DS version feels a bit unintuitive to me though, unlike the forms of how it does it in the console version, including Sonic Colors Ultimate, as well as Sonic Lost World on, I would say on the Wii U version, and probably the 3DS version as well on top of that. Well, fundamentally speaking, I was just about the fact that it's been ages since I actually have last played the 3DS version of Sonic Lost World, and let me tell you right about now that I'm probably not gonna play that much of the 3DS version of Sonic Lost World ever again, just because the level length is way too long. So yeah, that's what I can say about it. So yeah, that pretty much does it for mission number 1 right here, even though we were so close to get ourselves not only for the A rank, but as well as the S rank as well. But that's okay though, because obviously that was about the fact that, well, there was actually that particular reward, or to be more specifically, the special award, if you somehow managed able to try to not only, like, collect all the red star rings in particular, which I suppose we'll save that particular topic if we somehow managed able to, well, continue proceedings for this, basically. So either way though, now I apologize for my commentary, it's a little bit awkward sometimes, but that's just mainly because I'm almost gonna get myself a little bit distracted by the forms of this very irritating door just keeps on rattling thanks to the forms of this very stingy wind. Oh, well look who it is. We actually have ourselves Amy right here. Or in some cases, Sonic's love interest or anything else like that. So, yeah, that's pretty cool and everything. So, either way though, I suppose that Amy wants to let us do, let's just say, Act 2 of Aquarium Park again, except with the time limit. So because of that though, because she wants to see Sonic's action, so I suppose we're up for the challenge. So, anyways though, also, as far as I'm usually concerned, about the fact that I do sort of notice about the fact that there's actually some couple of new information has been added from the likes of Sonic X Shadow Generations, which, fundamentally speaking though, I've only come across into 2 new information they somehow added up. Like, for instance, they added in a new type of Chow they're going to be able to actually brought back, ever since in, let's just say in Sonic Adventure 2, for instance, that's what appears to be Chaos Chow, which is kind of cool and everything, especially concerning for the fact that obviously though we can now able to come across into ourselves Chow hunting this time around on Sonic Generations Remaster. So fundamentally speaking, I was just about the fact that I'm not exactly sure if let's just say the Flash Chow or Angel Chow will make its appearance. Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens, especially concerning for the fact that we're not exactly at October just yet, alongside with the forms of, you know, Super Mario Party Jamboree and all that stuff. So anyway, and also, get this, is about the fact that, remember what we discussed this before, about the fact that we could expect able to actually have no life system on Sonic Generations, including Shadow Generations as well? Well, I'm usually referring to as the remastered version of Sonic Generations, to be more specifically, because remember in the forms of in the original version of Sonic Generations on the Xbox 360 / PlayStation 3, and even PC Steam version, basically though is about the fact that you always have lives at all costs, and fundamentally speaking though, originally though, about the fact that they decided able to ditch the life system entirely throughout the forms of Sonic Generations as far as the remastered game as far as I'm concerned. It turns out we were completely wrong, because according to the forms of Gamescom's footage, that actually as it turns out, that the live system has now become an option known as challenge tries. So for instance, about the fact that if you try to turn on the challenge tries on, basically though you actually have a live system, so that makes it up for the challenge. Whilst compared to the forms of if you try to able to set the thing off, basically though you won't be able to actually try to worry about getting so many game overs or anything else like that. So because of that though, yeah, I'm honestly gonna be fine with this, especially concerning for the fact that, well, it is nice to see the life system does return ever since in journey forms of, I would say, technically speaking, since classic mode on Sonic Origins, despite the fact that you have to deal with the 4:3 aspect ratio with the actual specific screen resolution. In addition to that, though, is about the fact that there was live system only in classic mode, whilst compared to anniversary mode, there's no such thing as live. So because of that, though, yeah, it's kind of odd kind of thing about it. But at the very least, I'm very grateful about the fact that there was actually Ultimate Challenge once again for the sake of the live system. So because of that, whilst unlike the forms of how it does it on Sonic Colors Ultimate, the previous Sonic remastered game, well, despite the fact that you were able to actually come across into technical problems when it first launched, but actually as it turns out is about the fact that there's no live system at all, so instead it's been replaced by Tails mode, basically. So if you fell into the bottomless pit or something, Tails will bring you back into the level, and fundamentally speaking, there's no penalties if you managed able to, like, well, you know what I mean. So because of that, though, and now we move on to mission number 3, and we somehow bump into not only Amy again, but as well as Big the Cat again. So it may look like we've actually now stumbled across into ourselves the rest of the characters based off from Team Rose from Sonic Heroes. So for instance, we've already come across into Cream and Cheese the Chow from the likes of the forms of in Tropical Resort, and now we've bumped into not only Amy, but as well as Big the Cat in Aquarium Park. So everything else checks out there, basically. So, oh jeez, this mission right here. We still need to collect some rings, but here's the catch though. We need to perform, well, good skills right there, like the air boost, for instance. And as you can tell, if you fell into the water, that's a bottomless pit. So because of that though, you cannot afford to fall into the water once, unless if you're trying to able to boost. So because of that though, yeah, it definitely gets a lot more trickier when it comes to missions and all that stuff. But don't even get me started during the forms of in a final mission coming up, which as a result, you know what I mean, and you'll pretty much got to stay tuned for that until whenever you get to tomorrow's video. So because of that though, darn it! Well, there goes our failed attempt right there. But don't worry though, because obviously though we've got infinite amount of tries on missions and stuff like that, unlike the regular levels, so everything else checks out there basically. So yeah, I never thought about it until whenever I discovered to myself, for the sake of the faults of one of those articles I did somehow found out for the likes of the Sonic Wiki website. So because of that though, yeah, it's pretty cool to see the, well, the live system will make its massive comeback. So, anyways though, and also, as far as I'm aware, maybe it's a possibility that we might able to actually bump into Sonic the Hedgehog in Journey Forms Within Shadow Generations or something. Well, then again though, we have to wait and find out and join at some point until for about the next couple of days or so, because I know for a fact that, like I said before, we're not exactly in October just yet. So either way, oh, good, we got ourselves the A rank. So close to getting S rank though, but I'll take an A just in case. So, feels like we're actually doing pretty well in terms of Aquarium Park so far, which I think is actually very surprising. Unlike the forms of how it does it in Planet Wisp, that just feels a bit all over the place when it comes to like trial and error, and on top of that with the rankings and stuff like that. And in addition to missed out on several of those red star rings in particular as collectibles. So, oh well, beggars can't be choosers I guess, especially concerning for the fact that, you know, just like the forms of how it does it on Sonic Generations, specifically the console version most likely, those red star rings are optional, unless if you try to able to go after all of those illustrations and all that stuff. So, unless if you so much more desire to able to do so. So, anyways though, so let's move on now to the next boss in the DS version, and it may look like we've come across into this familiar captain once again on the console version, except now we don't have to worry about just trying to get onto the ship and all that stuff. So instead, we have to able to, you know, perform a stomp right there, and able to actually just try to able to attack him from here. And fundamentally speaking out, if you try to boost right onto its weak spot, we can now able to use laser instead of drill. Because unlike the forms of how it does it in, well, the, you know, the console version, not only for the likes of Sweet Mountain, but as well as Aquarium Park, that you have to use drill the whole time if you try to able to attack him quicker. So either way, And fundamentally speaking, I was about the fact that much like the forms of how it does it on Sweet Mountain boss fight, this boss is also pretty easy, unless if you pretty much know exactly what to do when it comes to likely trying to kill him faster by simply using a laser wisp. So, and also fundamentally speaking, I was about the fact that much like the forms of how it does it on well, let's just say about the fact that much like the forms of certain bosses for the certain Game Gear Sonic titles, specifically Sonic Blast, that basically does about the fact that you have to keep on grabbing air bubbles if you don't want to get drowned in this particular fight. So, but thankfully though, if you try to jump onto this little center thing on that platform over there, basically though, the air bubble will decide able to show up. So either way though, everything else checks out there. And, well, we actually got ourselves a pretty good finish off moment right there with, of course, the laser wisp. And let's see what rank we somehow got in terms of this boss fight. And would you look at that, another S rank. So it may look like this is our best performance when it comes to Aquarium Park on the DS version. So I'm very happy about this. So anyways though, also, I suppose there was actually technically the final thing I want to discuss upon, and that's what appears to be about the fact that apparently though, I've heard from a lot of leaks and rumors out there about the fact that despite the fact I don't usually trust rumors and leaks anymore, but it may look like about the fact that until next month anyway, in September, it may look like that Apple is going to be trying to announce there's going to be iPhone 16 and stuff like that. It's like, my goodness, how did they keep on like going for the sake of certain iPhone models? So I suppose we'll find out if it's true or not. In terms of the forms of how the actual thing is going to be true, well, I suppose about the fact that the actual Apple event will still take place in September, just like the forms of how it does it on the past years, including last year. Now, I can't believe about the fact it's been almost about a year ago since iPhone 15, alongside with iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 15 Pro Max exists. So because of that though, while they did manage to add in some new features here and there, but not by much in comparison to the forms of iPhone 14 and stuff like that, apart from the forms of the actual specific special material that we can able to actually come across into for that particular moment. So, but either way though, so now we're done with the forms of Aquarium Park, and as you can tell, we're somehow back into the forms of this Eggman conversation with not only Orbot, but also Cubot as well. And fundamentally speaking, I was about the fact that it may look like it's now a huge opportunity that we can now hit into, without a doubt is the hardest level in the entire version of the game of Sonic Colors, which you know exactly what I'm talking about, is Asteroid Coaster. So because of that though, yeah, so far about the fact that we did somehow rescue for a grand total of, well, let's say 5 wisps so far. So generally speaking, I was about the fact I'm pretty sure we might as well come across into the final wisp in this version of the game in particular, making a grand total of 6 wisps, or 5 if you so much so able to turn into something. So either way, yeah, seems kind of weird. You do need to able to unlock Asteroid Coaster if you do manage to complete not only Planet Wisp, but as well as Aquarium Park first. So yeah, it's kind of weird though. So I suppose with that being said folks, is that we get endings up this point right here. So join me next time for more of Let's Play of Sonic Colors for the Nintendo DS version. Is that we're about to be going into Asteroid Coaster, or in some cases the hardest level in the entire version of the game in my opinion. And oh boy, things gets a lot more emphasis on trial and error, so wish me luck I suppose. So I'll see you guys until tomorrow. Later fellas.